and real results. Available now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus. Your heart deserves better.
Time Check, brought to you by BioStrath Immune with added zinc. Distributed by H&J Enterprises Limited.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the 7 o'clock news on CNC3. I'm Ria Rambley.
I'm Ryan Bechu.
I am Jassi Marik with sports.
And I'm Sigoni Mohammed with your weather report.
Let's tell you what's making the news tonight. Police Commissioner defends new mobile units, explaining that deployment across TNT will be data-driven and strategic.
While some police units are erected overnight, 2 government ministers oversee establishment of the Eddie Hart unit as the Tunapuna Corporation watches on.
One member of the PNM writes the procurement regulator, calling for a probe into new police units.
Ahead in sport, CPL 2026 bowls off in St. Vincent with the Jamaica Kingsmen on debut against the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons.
Showers and thunderstorms are back in the forecast. How does this affect your weekend plans? Details in the weekend weather outlook.
Police Commissioner Alice Guevara is pushing back against criticism of the new mobile police units, insisting their locations are carefully selected based on crime data and strategic analysis.
Speaking on the units for the first time today, Guevara says mobile units are not new and have been in use for several years. But these new units, he says, can move throughout the country with minimal foundation work, and they can accommodate more officers and more advanced technology than the older models. Now, the TTPS is not revealing the full operational details. However, the top cop reveals where these units are deployed will be driven by crime data and trends identified by the TTPS's Crime and Problem Analysis branch. The TTPS says the units will have several roles. That includes community engagement, rapid response to local issues, planning and coordination during major incidents, and providing on-the-ground command during emergencies, among other things. As for the criticisms of the posts, Commissioner Guevara is making it clear he is not allowing that to distract the TTPS, adding that it is passing strange that people who claim to have security expertise would fail to understand what he describes as a basic concept.
Minister of Land and Legal Affairs Saddam Hussein is defending the construction of the Eddie Hart Grounds police post, saying UDICOT, the agency overseeing the project, is responsible for its execution and has been managing the process. When asked if all required approvals had been secured before construction started, Hussein did not give a direct answer.
Who in their right mind will oppose the construction or the presence of police in their neighborhood? I can't understand the position that the opposition has taken on that matter. It is, in fact, I was flabbergasted when I heard that persons are objecting to this. We are guided through the intelligence that we would have received from all of our national security agencies and so on. As civilians, we don't make the decision in terms of what goes where.
The minister also defended the wider rollout of police posts, saying they would increase security presence within communities. He therefore questioned why the opposition would not support the construction of 30 new police posts across the country.
Why are they opposing this? Is it that they are defending their owners? Are they defending the drug dealers? Are they defending the criminals? I'll go as far as that this morning, because we right now are trying to bring back law and order to Trinidad and Tobago.
Attempts to contact UDICOT Chairman Shankar Bidesi and CEO Tamika Charles Phillips were unsuccessful up to news time.
A standoff erupted at the Eddie Hart grounds today after Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation Chairman Josiah Austin, accompanied by members of his council, arrived with a stop order seeking to halt works underway for a mobile police army post. The notice, however, was not served. The confrontation unfolded as Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander and Minister of Rural Development and Local Government Khadija Amin were on site overseeing preparations for the facility, which government says is one of 30 mobile police posts being established across the country. Austin was heckled by supporters of the unit, but he maintained that the corporation was not consulted before works began and accused the government of disregarding the authority of local government.
No one is above the law, and everything that every ordinary citizen of Trinidad and Tobago would have to go through, I expect that the government will also go through, and that is only expected. That is only expected. We are all for security and the systems to be put in place, but at the same time, at least some respect to the corporation should be given.
Rural Development and Local Government Minister Khadija Amin stated that the corporation chairman never approached her while she was at the site. She also rejected Austin's challenge, saying the works were not for a permanent police station, but preparation for a mobile police unit.
Josiah Austin, as a PNM chairman of a corporation, does not have the power to serve any notice. So I don't know who he came here to fool, but I feel that if we were not here, he would have intimidated and bullied the people.
Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander warned that any interference with the works could have consequences. While construction has been halted at the Eddie Hart Savannah, those who live and work nearby say they're less concerned about politics and more concerned about crime.
Jesse Ramdale and Timothy Shasto have more.
What was expected to become one of the government's first joint police and army operational posts now sits at the center of a political dispute. Construction at the Eddie Hart Savannah came to an abrupt stop after the Tunapuna-Piarco Regional Corporation intervened, amid concerns over whether the necessary approvals had been granted. While politicians continue to trade blame over the stalled project, nearby vendors say their priority is far less political.
It had an incident with a stabbing, then it had plenty purse and bag snatching, and then it had people cars get breaking 10 times, and then I myself had get her up here as also.
For doubles vendor Sunil Lala, the issue is personal. After more than a decade at the Eddie Hart Food Village, he says crime has become all too familiar. He believes a permanent police and army presence could restore confidence among customers and offer much-needed protection for vendors who deal largely in cash.
Out here not getting good, it is going to get worse. And plenty of people who don't want to work, they just want things easy and just want to come and take it from here.
Echoing Lala's sentiments was fellow vendor Chandra Singh, who says while approvals should be obtained, she wants the project moving again as quickly as possible.
I think if there is something necessary, they have to get approval, then get it, and let's get ahead with the police and army presence.
While construction here at Eddie Hart has come to a standstill, it's a different picture beneath the Grand Bazaar overpass, another site earmarked for the Joint Police and Army Post. And while some are hopeful the initiative could make a difference, others believe the strategy alone will not solve the country's crime problem.
To stop the crime, you gotta start from on top. Understand? So me saying that all bad policing. You understand? Not all police bad, but you gotta start from there first. You see inside there, you gotta start that place first before they come out here.
Minister of Homeland Security Roger Alexander says construction of 2 additional police posts will begin this weekend, while work on police post facilities at the Taruba interchange and Eddie Hart remains on track despite concerns raised over the process used to award contracts. Speaking to reporters at Taruba interchange on Friday, Alexander said the government would not allow objections to the initiative to derail its plan to increase police visibility and strengthen crime prevention. Questioned about the cost of constructing each police post, Alexander declined to provide a figure. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.
Arima Deputy Mayor Jovan Roberts is challenging the government to explain whether proper approvals were obtained before construction began on the Eddie Hart Grounds police post. Roberts says the Tunapuna-Piarco Regional Corporation was not properly consulted and claims the required approvals were not secured. He's calling on the government to publish the approved plans, project costs, procurement details, and the identity of the contractor. Roberts says while he supports measures to improve public safety, government must also follow the law. He insists no minister, ministry, or government should be above the rules that apply to ordinary citizens. Now, while construction of the government's new police posts has already started in some areas, several UNC-controlled regional corporations say they were not formally consulted or fully briefed on the initiative.
Unlike the PNM-controlled Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation. However, their chairman say they have no intention of standing in the way. They acknowledge that established approval processes may have to be followed, but say they will work with central government to get the posts built.
Akash Samaru reports.
No consultation yet, but no confrontation either. Chairman of several UNC-controlled regional corporations earmarked for the government's new police posts say they are still waiting for the finer details. But they say when the paperwork comes, if necessary, they intend to facilitate, not frustrate the process. Chairman of the Kuvatabaki Talpara Regional Corporation, Ryan Rampasad, says his corporation has long lobbied for a stronger security presence. At least 4 posts are earmarked for the municipality, with another 2 near its border with Princestown. But he explained to CNC3 News that permission from the regional corporation may not be needed in all cases. Rampasad said there are various categories of development under the planning laws, and some works may fall under permissible development, which do not require approval from a municipal corporation. In Penal Debi, Chairman Gautam Maharaj says he too has only seen the publicly announced locations and has not yet been formally briefed. He acknowledges that construction applications must move through the established planning and approval system, but Maharaj says process should not become an excuse for delay. Saying that his corporation is ready as of yesterday for the police posts, he added that processes are not bigger than people and office holders must be able to factor in the needs of its people despite whatever protocol may arise. Meanwhile, Princestown Chairman Gauri Rupnarayan says whether municipal approval would be required could ultimately depend on the type of facility being used. If government utilizes an existing building that already has the necessary approvals, he said there may be no need to return to the corporation for approval. What he does know is that municipal police are expected to work alongside the TTPS. And in Mayara Rio Claro, Chairman Raymond Cozier says an area at Indian Bay has been identified, but construction has not started and no application has yet reached the corporation. Cozier says any new structure would ordinarily have to go through the relevant planning, engineering and public health processes. But he says his corporation will not pick a fight over an initiative intended to improve security. Akash Samaru, CNC3 News.
The Office of Procurement Regulation has been asked to investigate the procurement and construction of the government's 30 joint police army posts. The complaint was filed by attorney Randall Mitchell on behalf of social activist Wendell Eversley, with former Prime Minister Stuart Young also instructed in the matter. Mitchell, a former government minister, is asking procurement regulator Beverly Khan to urgently examine the complete procurement record and determine whether the process compiled with public procurement laws. The complaint raises questions about how contractors were selected, the source of funding, the cost of the program, and whether there was any competitive tendering process. It also asks the OPR to determine whether any non-competitive emergency or national security procurement procedure was used, and if so, the justification for doing so. Mitchell has also asked the regulator to investigate questions surrounding whether a Motilal Ramhit-owned or related company is involved.
Still to come in the news, police recruitment heads to Tobago, where some applicants tell us how they feel about the country's crime situation.
Ansa Macau reports strong profitability in the first half of 2026. We'll tell you which areas across the group achieved impressive performance.
Coming up in sport, TNT sprinters Woods and Mills lead the medal quest at the World Under-20 Championships.
We finally said yes to onion rings. Now it's your turn to say yes to the new KFC onion ring chicken sandwich for $34.95, or get a regular side of rings for just $15. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
2 suspects connected to the theft of firearms and ammunition from the San Fernando Municipal Police Station have been issued preventive detention orders. Jamal Daniel, also known as Vampire of the Lamont Street Gang, is accused of being linked to recent gang-related shootings, the theft of firearms and ammunition from the Municipal Police Station, and plans to traffic and use high-velocity ammunition in retaliatory attacks. Neil Polion, also of the same gang, is said to have used regional and international criminal contacts to support the trafficking of firearms, ammunition, and narcotics. Intelligence also links him to the Municipal Police Station firearms theft, which happened in April and left Acting Corporal Anushka Eversley dead. Meanwhile, Akeem Shem, also known as Hammers, is an alleged enforcer for the Alien 7 gang. Authorities say he was allegedly involved in plans to carry out imminent retaliatory attacks against rival gangs in public places.
A 19-year-old businessman has been arrested after police allegedly found 2 firearms and 200 rounds of ammunition during searches of his West Moorings home and a quarry in Wallerfield. Police say the suspect was held on August 6th after officers executed a search warrant at his home on Buccaneer Drive, West Moorings.
Officers say they found a pistol with 2 magazines and 15 rounds of ammunition inside a bedroom closet. A second Smith & Wesson pistol, 2 magazines, and 23 rounds of 9mm ammunition were found in a jacket hanging in the same closet.
Police also searched a Santa Claus statue in the bedroom, where they say 72 rounds of 9mm ammunition were hidden in a bag draped over its hand. Officers then went to a quarry on Silica Road, Wallerfield, co-owned by the suspect and his mother. There they say they found 90 rounds of 5.56mm ammunition hidden inside a filing cabinet. Although keen to become police officers, many female applicants in Tobago admitted to being petrified of the crime situation in this country. Describing the job as extremely risky, some told CNC3 News they would refuse employment if stationed in Trinidad. For the majority, however, the reward of a stable job outweighs the risks and is their main motivating factor. Close to 400 applicants went through a verification process during a recruitment exercise today at the Dwight York Stadium in Bacolet. For 20-year-old Saraya Birusing, whose both parents are officers, following the family legacy was an easy decision.
Yes, I did get the encouragement to apply because of the different benefits and perks after you retire and stuff like that.
But while stability was important for some, one teenager is simply eager to fulfill his childhood dream.
Since I was small, I always wanted to be a police officer. I used to watch plenty police shows. All to today, I still watch police shows, firefighter shows, you know, all about helping people. So I just feel like that's just what motivates me.
Keeping a close eye on the exercise was WPC Suzette Walters, a 25-year veteran in the police service. She advised recruits to prioritize the service. Part of the police motto is building trust is essential to the job.
Trinidad and Tobago's reported participation in a United States-led regional security initiative is drawing mixed reactions. One expert argues it will strengthen efforts against organized crime, while another warns it could expose the country to new legal and geopolitical risks. The Defense Force is expected to participate in the Joint Task Force Western Hemisphere, a U.S.-led Shield of the Americas initiative involving the 18-member Americas Counter-Cartel Coalition. The initiative is aimed at strengthening regional cooperation against transnational threats, including drug trafficking, firearm smuggling, and human trafficking. Criminologist Dr. Melissa Neptune-Figaro says the arrangement recognizes that organized crime extends beyond national borders and requires a coordinated regional response.
When it comes to drug cartels, firearm traffickers, and human trafficking networks, they do not just operate within national borders, they operate internationally. So no single country can effectively address this in isolation. And so enhancing intelligence, sharing joint maritime surveillance, and even coordinating like enforcement operations, it does have the potential to disrupt criminal networks before it actually reaches Trinidad.
But Neptune Figaro cautions that regional cooperation alone will not solve the country's organized crime problem. She says it must be supported by stronger policing, financial investigations, prosecutions, and anti-corruption measures. Criminologist Dr. Darius Figuera, however, believes the initiative could fundamentally alter TNT's security posture. He says while regional militaries may participate, strategic planning and operational command will remain under the United States.
The level of exposure has now exploded, where we will now be part of the warm boots on the ground. And that means the liability that accrues will also go with that.
Figuera also criticized what he described as a lack of transparency surrounding the initiative, saying details of TNT's reported participation emerged through U.S. sources rather than local officials.
The government has not publicly outlined the country's role in the JTF WHEM, and multiple attempts to obtain comment from Defense Minister Wayne Sturge were unsuccessful.
Cuban ambassador to this country, Gustavo Vélez Olivares, says his country is being placed under severe strain because of increased U.S. sanctions.
Olivares refutes claims that there have not been any additional sanctions placed on Cuba. He was speaking during an interview on CNC3's The Morning Brew program today and said medical procedures and national security are being affected.
Yes, in Cuba today we're suffering about 20 hours without electricity, 20 hours, 24 hours, today, constantly. This is, you can figure out that in Trinidad and Tobago, I don't know. Thanks God you don't have that situation. That's very good that you don't have that situation. You figure out 1 hour, 2 hours with electricity for the surgeries at the hospital, to keep children's for the school, for the daily life. That's the situation that we're suffering today because the sanctions imposed by United States.
The Cuban ambassador is appealing to the government of Trinidad and Tobago and other regional governments to stand in solidarity with Cuba.
He says there seems to be hesitation from some Caribbean leaders, but he says Cuba stands with the region whenever help is needed. He added that the Cuban people are strong, but now more than ever, they need regional support.
Have a lot of resilience, but Cuban people need to be accompanied by Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. We really have a great value of the company of the people of the Caribbean and specifically in this case people of Trinidad and Tobago. Today in Cuba we have the situation like in Gaza, for example. You cannot, they try to avoid the relationship with Cuba, all kind of the relationship with Cuba. Despite that situation, we continue to fighting, and we actually offering the Trinidad and Tobago the option to have the relationship for.
Cuba and members of the Cuban diaspora will be commemorating the 100th birthday of former President Fidel Castro on August 13th with activities at the Port of Spain City Corporation. Well, major announcements for Trinidad and Tobago's energy sector could come within days, with the national gas company signaling new investments and gas supply developments.
And Ansa McCall is reporting a sharp jump in first-half profits, driven by stronger trading, strategic asset sales, and lower finance costs.
Andrea Perez-Zobas has more in tonight's Business Watch.
The National Gas Company says major announcements for the energy sector are just days away, with Chairman Gerald Ramdeen revealing that Prime Minister Kamala Bissessa will soon unveil initiatives aimed at boosting investment and strengthening the country's gas industry.
What I can tell you is this. Within the past 2 months, the National Gas Company, the Ministry of Energy, our international upstream partners have done considerable work to be able to bring benefits to the people of this country. The results of those works are going to be announced by the Honorable Prime Minister. And she's the rightful person to be able, she's our leader, she's our Prime Minister, and the significant announcements that have to be made are rightfully to be made by her. and you don't have to wait very long.
On the issue of the Brechin Castle solar project, Ramdeen criticized the previous administration, saying the facility was built without battery storage and is now forcing shareholders comprising of NGC, BP and Shell to find a workable commercial solution. Ramdeen was speaking to reporters after the Commissioner of State Lands formally vested NGC with the title to the Beachfield Gas Processing Facility lands in Guayari during a ceremony at the Hyatt Regency on Friday. Turning to other business news, the Ansa Group has posted a sharp jump in first half earnings, with profit after tax climbing to $297.6 million for the 6 months ended June 30th, up 44.4% from $206.1 million a year ago. The conglomerate, which includes Tatil, Carib and Coal-Fire, said stronger trading, strategic asset sales and lower finance costs drove the improved performance. Profit attributable to equity holders also rose 50% to $257.8 million, while basic earnings per share increased to $1.50 from $1 in the corresponding period last year. Revenue reached record $3.79 billion, with higher sales across almost every market where the group operates. Chairman A. Norman Sabga said the first half results reflected resilient operations and disciplined execution despite varying conditions across the group's businesses. Guyana delivered the strongest revenue growth, while only Barbados and the United States recorded declines. And now for a look at today's energy and foreign exchange prices. Andrea Perez Sobas, CNC3 Business Watch.
Let's tell you what's still to come in the news tonight. As El Nino strengthens, government is warning that water restrictions may be unavoidable.
Spring tides are back in effect, but how soon? I'll tell you more after the break.
Truth be told, here at GMMB, love is the currency. And let's show you how we are able to transfer that energy into real conversations. It seems to me there's a power in listening. It seems like that is a part of the mandate.
Of course. We need to listen to our clients. We need to hear what they need. We need to hear that they are satisfied, they are loved, they are feeling that GMMB culture.
GMMB.
It's banking for real.
Lucozade, bring the energy. Unbeatable taste, new look.
Mom, Dad, this is Trevor.
Hi. He's no Kieran. Back up.
Swing? That's why he crossed the road. It was funny when Kieran said,
"Ooh, who could that be?"
We're like the parents who don't miss your ex.
I can't believe Kieran is in the neighborhood.
CG United. Good like that.
Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in Trinidad and Tobago, driven by 2 silent threats, diabetes and high cholesterol. But now there's a powerful ally, introducing Berberine Plus by Asia Nutrition, clinically proven to stabilize blood sugar and keep cholesterol levels in check. With 99.9% pure extract, you get superior absorption and real results. Available now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus. Your heart deserves better.
As Trinidad and Tobago braces for the impacts of a strengthening El Nino, Public Utilities Minister Barry Pidarath says water restrictions could soon become a reality.
But for thousands of residents already receiving water well below schedule, the question is whether those preparations have come too late.
There have been some discussions that have already happened by the Interministerial Committee. We are not starting from a point of zero because several of these things would have existed in the past in terms of mitigating against the impact of the weather pattern that is expected. So yes, you can expect in the short term that certain announcements will be made in this regard. The Honorable Attorney General is out of the jurisdiction at this point in time, but upon his return in a couple of days, I'm almost certain that those discussions will be finalized.
To stretch existing supplies, WASA says it is rehabilitating treatment plants, expanding groundwater production, and introducing systems to recover water that was previously discharged during treatment.
One project alone is expected to return above 5 million gallons of water a day back into the treatment process.
What this means is that instead of backwashing filters in the sedimentation process, we are now developing a process that we can recover that extra 5 million gallons of water that we use to backwash these filters that are usually sent to the rivers and estuaries. We are now taking this and recirculating it back into our system to recover that 5 million gallons of water. That is very important to us.
Officials say planning also extends beyond households.
Schools, hospitals, and fire stations are being assessed for additional water storage, while ministries are reviewing contingency plans ahead of the new school term if higher temperatures persist. It's now time for the weather forecast with Sigoni. Sigoni, you were at that press conference.
That's right, I was.
And I mean, we are in the wet season, but it doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't. And with El Nino in play and the climate crisis, a big conversation globally, what we're seeing now is that this El Nino phenomenon will take us, as in the dry, dull conditions that we're having, the hot conditions, will take us into May of next year. Wow. So we're in for a prolonged dry period even in our wet season. So that's not good news, and that's where water conservation comes into play, and also maybe investing in an air conditioning unit or a reliable fan for the heated days. So with that said, rain is on the way in the forecast, so we have some good news on the way. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Today we had a lot of heat as well. We've been continuing that hot trend, and into this evening's forecast we do see the ITCZ, the Intertropical Convergence Zone, making appearance very close to the South American continent. But is it bringing us any rainfall? The short answer right now is no, it's not. We are getting some quick passing showers across southern Trinidad, but not a lot to talk about in this forecast. We also have an incoming tropical wave in the next few hours as well. We'll see if that brings in meaningful rainfall. Right now, conditions are fair, a little bit on the hazy side because Saharan dust haze is still present, and showers will start to pick up, but after midnight into the pre-dawn period. So if you have an early morning tomorrow, you may want to have the umbrella on hand as we start to see some showers creeping in just after 4 a.m. Temperature-wise, we remain quite warm into this evening's forecast, and as the week progresses into early next week, temperatures will stay quite warm, even with the introduction of some precipitation. So when we take a look at the wide view here, Saharan dust haze blanketing the Atlantic, and then we have the ITCZ, yes, but not just one or two, but three tropical waves back to back to back moving into the area. And that could spell some good news for us, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, because we're in for some much needed rainfall. But with all of this dust to combat in the atmosphere right now, the big player here is, will we get meaningful rainfall over the next few days? And right now we are seeing the possibility of moderate to heavy downpours in a few areas tomorrow, especially looking out for some rumbles of thunder, especially for those of you across southern Trinidad, and we will see that filtering across the general area as well. Sunday, early morning clouds will clear out and sunshine returns, but as the week goes on, another tropical wave comes into Monday and Tuesday, and we'll see showers and thunderstorms returning to the forecast. But again, temperatures remain warm across the general area. Variably cloudy skies take over Tobago, however. We'll see that mixture of sunshine and cloudiness with showers moving across the island, mainly around the mid-afternoon period. But take note, these showers will clear out and conditions do settle by the evening forecast, so you want to pay attention to that as we push through each day in this forecast. Thunderstorm activity as well is expected in the early morning period, and that's where we have those tropical waves moving through. But the heat is still packing a punch, and the humidity as well. Temperatures will be climbing not just in the day, but overnight as well. If you're heading offshore now, guess what? Conditions at the beach, not too comfortable this weekend. Winds will be increasing and our wind direction will vary from east-northeast to southeast throughout this weekend. And springtide, it's back in effect come Sunday, so extra caution is advised for those of you heading offshore. We'll be looking out for abnormal high and low tides during that time. A slight chop if you have a shower in the area, and those of us on land, umbrellas on hand. Look out for gusty winds if you have a heavy downpour or even a rumble of thunder in your area.
The rain is coming. I'm going to do my part to bring it down. I'm going to wash my car and sing while doing it, and you'll see.
That brings some rain.
It will.
Might bring a storm.
All right, thank you so much, Sigoni. Let's tell you what's still to come in the news. Barbados's Crop Over Festival may have come to a close, but the memories will certainly remain. We take you into the heart of Monday's Grand Kadooman Parade.
Stomach discomfort again? Bloating, cramps, irregular bathroom habits? Meet Vivera, your daily support for a balanced gut. Vivera works fast to help reduce the abdominal pain, ease bloating, and support healthy digestion. It helps restore balance to your gut so you can get back to feeling light, comfortable, and in control. Choose for real digestive relief, safe, effective, and trusted for both children and adults. Now available at pharmacies nationwide. Vivera, feel the difference.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have the bill?
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hey, the pool is this way.
Whatever you're here for, we're here for you. Stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in Trinidad and Tobago, driven by 2 silent threats, diabetes and high cholesterol. But now there's a powerful ally, introducing Berberine Plus by Asia Nutrition, clinically proven to stabilize blood sugar and keep cholesterol levels in check. With 99.9% pure extract, you get superior absorption and real results. Available now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, your heart deserves better.
Investigations into the Housing Development Corporation's projects and contracts could eventually be referred to law enforcement as the government moves to determine how billions of dollars were spent on developments that were allegedly inherited in poor condition. Minister in the Ministry of Housing, Philip Alexander, made the disclosure during a tour of several HEC developments, including Terrestrial, Mausica, and Bon Air Gardens, where he was accompanied by officials from the corporation's engineering, construction, and investigation teams.
What Camille Robinson Regis is referring to as routine maintenance is garbage collection, grass cutting, and pressure washing to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars in overinflated contracts that are attracting the attention of the board of the Housing Development Corporation, and those investigations will be referred to law enforcement at some point. Our team has documents for you on that.
Alexander said the government is putting measures in place to go back through existing HEC projects, address maintenance problems, and ensure residents eventually receive proper titles to their homes. With Mason Hall Mariah Assemblyman Ian Pollard still away from duty due to illness, the Tobago House of Assembly's Executive Council took its services directly to the district yesterday. Chief Secretary Farley Augustin says the initiative is aimed at ensuring residents continue to receive representation and access to services while Pollard recovers. Residents turned out in large numbers to meet one-on-one with secretaries responsible for legal affairs, health, housing, and other portfolios, raising concerns affecting their communities. Amongst the most pressing issues raised was employment, with several villagers calling for more job opportunities and quicker action to address unemployment in the district.
I'm seeking help with like employment. That's one. Help for my children. My situation is that I have 2 kids of my own, and I take care of 2 of my sisters because our mother passed. They're still going to school, so I'm just little supplies and things for them to help with school, food stuff, anything that could help. I'm good with that.
Pollard was hospitalized in early June due to a medical emergency and continues to recover from an undisclosed ailment. Assemblyman Kern Alexis said the Assembly is committed to providing support for Pollard and his constituents.
Well, it's now time for sport with Jassy. Jassy, Club Sando makes a strong CONCACAF Club Cup debut.
Yeah, in a week where the TTPFL champion Club Defence Force was defeated, Club Sando flies the flag, coming from behind to defeat Suriname's SV Brokkie. And we'll tell you where on the international stage are the red, white and black's best sporting ambassadors in action this weekend. Stick around, sport is next.
Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in Trinidad and Tobago, driven by 2 silent threats, diabetes and high cholesterol. But now there's a powerful ally, introducing Berberine Plus by Aja Nutrition, clinically proven to stabilize blood sugar and keep cholesterol levels in check. With 99.9% pure extract, you get superior absorption and real results. Available now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus. Your heart deserves better.
The biggest party in sport is back. Catch every TKR match live and exclusively on CNC3, August 7th through September 20th. You don't want to miss the action. The Republic Bank CPL 2026, only on CNC3. Passion, energy, and cricket live here. Brought to you by
Welcome back. The 14th edition of the Caribbean Premier League has bowled off at Arnorsville Ground in St. Vincent. In the 2026 curtain raiser, the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons won the toss and decided to let the tournament's newest franchise, the Jamaica Kingsmen, bat first. So far, it has been easy going for the Kingsmen, and they are certainly trying to set a challenging total, batting first in that one. We'll update you on the scores of it later. Now, the Kingsmen might be new to this competition, but it is not the first Jamaican franchise in the CPL, as they were previously represented by the Jamaica Tallawahs and were champions in 2013, 2016 and 2022. Well, only the defending champions, TKR, have more CPL titles. Before first ball today, Captain Rovman Powell explained what it feels like to have Jamaican representation once more at the biggest party in sport.
Yeah, it's nice to be back home. You know, it's nice to see CPL cricket back in Jamaica. You know, the fans and us as players really looking forward to that. You know, but this provides another opportunity for us to sell brand Jamaica, not just to the Caribbean, but to the world.
Currently, the Kingsmen are 62 for 3 after just about 8 overs. You can catch that match in its entirety right here on CNC3 tomorrow. And of course, we'll have all of TKR's matches live throughout the course of the tournament. Well, today at the World Under-20 Athletics Championships in Eugene, Oregon, Imani Mills and Mikalan Woods were the 2 athletes representing Team TTO moving on in the 200-meter sprints.
A picture of calm was Trinidad and Tobago's Mikalan Woods in lane 2 of Heat 2 in the men's 200-meter prelims.
A really good start on the outside from the South African Manavela, moving really well. Al-Masari now coming into his running. Machata looking strong as well. This is pretty even as they come into the home straight. Woods now on the inside, powering away. He ran a brilliant bend.
The 18-year-old was in total control from the blocks to the tape. His time of 20.92 seconds made him the first of 3 automatic qualifiers from that heat. South Africa's Mukona Manavela was second in 21.10, and Richard Machata from Slovakia snatched third in 21.19. After reaching the women's 100-meter semi-finals, Imani Mills' aim was to go 1 round further at double the distance.
Maxwell is fourth from the right-hand side as we look at it, and Mills of Trinidad and Tobago has gone out hard, and Maxwell has duly followed.
After setting the pace out of the blocks and for the first 80 meters of Heat 8, American Mariah Maxwell, who also had a point to prove after watching her twin sister win the 100-meter gold last evening, began to move forward.
Jogging across the line.
Maxwell's time in the heat, 23.37 seconds, in claiming one of 2 automatic spots to tonight's semi-finals. Mills gets the other with a time of 23.75. Teammate Kyori Robley clocked 24 seconds flat in heat 6. That time earned a 4th spot in the race where only the top 2 advanced, and she was just 0.13 seconds off of her fastest loser's berth to the semis. In the women's 100-meter hurdles, Jenna Marie Thomas was well outside the top 3, 8th in a time of 14.20 seconds, and she also misses out on moving on in the competition. Closer to home, Team Trinidad and Tobago's netball women were the only bright spot for this country today, picking up the country's only victory on a tough day of competition. They actually defeated Jamaica 56-49 to win the gold medal at the CAC Games. Here's Rajiv Surat Singh with a full recap of other events on the day.
Last night's boxing action ended in disappointment for TNT's Abdul Mason, who settled for a bronze after falling to hometown favourite Disney Medina in the 60-kilogram semi-final. Over 3 bruising rounds, Mason hit the canvas several times, though only one fall was ruled an official knockdown, as Medina's excellent timing and precise punching ultimately carried the decision. In today's action, Team TTO's volleyball women had to settle for an 8th-place finish after suffering a 3-0 defeat against Costa Rica. Nicholas Lando had a disappointing 8th-place finish as well in the men's 800-meter final in a time of 1:53.33, paying the price for a blistering start that left him with too little in the tank for the finish. Ferdy Agramonte ran away with gold in 1:46.07. The silver went to Venezuela's Jose Maita. TNT's Julissa Alexander finished 7th in the women's high jump final. Alexander's highest clearance came at 1.78 meters, which was below the eventual gold medalist Dominican Republic's Marisabel Senu at 1.93 meters. Cuba's Bryson Daxi and Bermuda's Sakari Famous completed the podium with measurements of 1.93 and 1.91 respectively. TNT's Laleni Grant finished 5th in the women's discus final, throwing 51.52 meters. Grant's best effort left her just over 3 meters outside the medal positions. Cuba's Celinda Morales claimed gold with 62.58 meters, ahead of Bahamas' Serena Brown and Cuba's Melanie Matthias. Rajiv Surat Singh, CNT3 Sport.
Club Sando made a winning start to their 2026 CONCACAF Caribbean Cup campaign, rallying to a 2-1 victory over SV Brookie at the Hazley Crawford Stadium last evening. Samaki Felician reports.
Club Sando kicked off their 2026 CONCACAF Caribbean Cup campaign against Suriname's SV Brookie at the Hazley Crawford Stadium on Thursday. However, the San Fernando club in customary orange was under early pressure from their Surinamese opponents. With Brookie constantly knocking at the door, it would only be a matter of time before someone answered. And in the 35th minute, Shaquille Cairo broke the deadlock with a confident header of an appetizing cross. That goal was the wake-up call Club Sando needed, and soon they started to create chances of their own. In the closing minutes of the first half, their chance of redemption came after an SV Brookie defender handled the ball inside the box. Luke Phillip converted from the spot to level the scores at 1-1 heading into the interval. The team in Tangerine came out inspired for the second half, coming close to finding a second goal on multiple occasions. Then in the 65th, Shaquille Smack Henry completed the comeback, reacting quickest to head home the winner of the rebound from Phillips' attempt. With that goal, Club Sando took full control, dominating the remainder of the game, sealing all 3 points in their Caribbean Cup opener. Samaki Felician, CNC3 Sport.
Now, in sporting news around the region, the CPL is to honor one of the region's greatest sporting icons and Jamaica medals at the World Athletics Under-20 Championships.
The Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League will pay tribute to the late Sir Garfield Sobers throughout the 2026 season. The tournament has announced that a minute's applause will be observed before the first match at every host venue, allowing fans across the Caribbean to honor the legendary Barbadian who passed away on July 17th at the age of 89. CPL Chief Executive Officer Pete Russell described Sir Garfield as the man who defined West Indies cricket on the world stage and whose legacy continues to inspire generations across the region. And Jamaica is finally on the medal table at the World Athletics Under-20 Championships in Eugene, Oregon, thanks to impressive silver medal performances from sprinters Gary Card in the men's 100 meters and Shanoya Douglas in the women's 100 meters. Card clocked 10.05 seconds to finish second behind American Tate Taylor, while Douglas crossed the line in 11.17 seconds, narrowly missing out on gold to another American, Mia Maxwell. The medals moved Jamaica into the top 10 of the standings. Samaki Felician, CNC3 Sport.
And now it's time for a look at what's happening in sport across Trinidad and Tobago and abroad this weekend.
The TNT Football Association G-League Big 8 competition reaches the knockout stage this weekend, with the country's top youth girls teams battling for places in the under-13 and under-15 finals at the UE Rugby Field in St. Augustine. Saturday's semi-finals kick off at 9 a.m, with the finals of both age groups to follow from the same time and at the same venue on Sunday. So head out and support. South Zone basketball is on this weekend with 2 matches on Saturday at the Point Fortin Indoor Court. Tip-off is at 7 p.m, with Sunday's doubleheader at Pleasantville Indoor beginning at 6:30 p.m. TNT has a lot of sporting interests happening overseas. The national women's under-19 team begins its campaign at the CWI Rising Stars Championships, taking on Jamaica on Saturday at the Bethesda Ground in Antigua. The CAC Games in Santo Domingo concludes this Saturday. Medals can be added to the country's count through Gianna Pace, who competes in the 86-kilogram weightlifting class at 11:30 a.m. And at the World Under-20 Championships in Eugene, Oregon, Sienna Parsons goes in the women's triple jump at 12:35 p.m. Then at 2:20 p.m., the men's 4x4 relay team takes to the track for the first round. Our men's and women's 4x1 teams also face the starters in the first round, and Amari Brown goes for a spot in the 400-meter final, contesting the semi-final at 9:41 p.m. I am Rajiv Surati with your CNC3 Sport Wrap.
And well, Vincent Thill strikes his way to tonight's Sport High.
Waldorf Mannheim were in action against Fortuna Düsseldorf in the German 3rd Division season opener earlier today. Mannheim's Vincent Thill decided to give a taste on what is to come this season, striking the ball purely, and all the keeper could do was try. So Vincent, for your unstoppable rocket launcher, you earn tonight's CNC3's Sport High.
All right, guys, we've come to the end of the week, but the start of the CPL, and of course for you fans, it means a lot more cricket action, whatnot, but for us, it means earlier news times.
That's right, on certain days, of course, especially on the days that TKR will be playing. So let's remind you that tomorrow's newscast, that's Saturday's newscast, will begin at 6 p.m. So be sure
Join us early.
That's right. All right, thank you so much, Jassy. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. That should big savings with our road hazard warranty on Download 2021 Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Plaisance Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
And now for a look at tonight's regional roundup.
Bahamas has become the first CARICOM country to join the Alliance for Primary Healthcare in the Americas. The regional initiative, backed by PAHO, the Inter-American Development Bank, and the World Bank, aims to transform national healthcare systems. Bahamas Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville says the partnership will align funding and technical support to deliver more resilient, high-quality care to citizens across the nation. The St. Kitts and Nevis Bureau of Standards has issued an immediate recall for Squishy Dumpling and similar squeeze toys over safety concerns. Officials warn these products, often counterfeit, can release hazardous filling like expanding water beads, posing choking, toxicity, and burn risks if exposed to heat. Retailers have been ordered to remove them from shelves. Guyana's President Irfan Ali has ordered a legal review of penalties for AI-generated misinformation after fake content surrounding the MV Barima. The tragic event caused fish sales to slump. Doctored images online have sparked public confusion and reluctance to buy fish. President Ali warned that AI-driven fake news causes a severe economic harm to local communities, announcing a public education campaign alongside legal measures to combat digital manipulation. Angelo Chetadaya, CNC3 News.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Live Caribbean Premier League, only on CNC3. The biggest parties on CNC3. We've secured the broadcast rights to the Caribbean Premier League, bringing you every TKR match live. To make room for the action, CNC3 News will air earlier on selected match days. Watch for our daily reminders on air and follow CNC3 on social media for the latest broadcast times, so you don't miss the stories that matter. Stay with us for every run, every wicket, every unforgettable CPL moment, only on CNC3. Follow CNC3 on social media for the full broadcast schedule. CNC3, your news, your cricket.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Well, Crop Over in Barbados is more than just a festival. It's a celebration of culture, music, freedom, and Bajan pride. And while the island's Crop Over calendar is packed with events, nothing quite compares to the grand finale, the Grand Kadooment.
Thousands of masqueraders, elaborate costumes, pounding Bajan music, and a sea of color take over the streets as Barbadians and visitors alike let loose. Angelo Jedediah and Ricardo St. Bernard were there and bring us this story.
No matter how many times you hear about it, experiencing Barbados' annual Crop Over Festival is something that belongs on every carnival lover's bucket list. But there is one event where thousands truly let loose and embrace the spirit of the festival, Grand Kadooment. From the early hours of that first Monday in August, the transformation begins. Revelers slip into elaborate feathered costumes, apply the finishing touches, and prepare to hit the road, with the crystal blue Caribbean Sea providing the perfect backdrop. Now, as the grand finale of Crop Over in Barbados, the streets every year erupt with music, culture, and unmistakable Bajan pride. Grand Kadooment traces its roots back to 1686, when the end of the island's sugarcane harvest was celebrated. Those plantation traditions have since evolved into one of the Caribbean's most colorful events. This year, 22 bands on the road braved the blazing sun, taking every opportunity to cool down and stay hydrated before jumping right back into the celebration. But it did not hold anyone back, including Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley, who made her way through the crowds, shipping and greeting everyone in great spirits. But she wasn't the only familiar face turning heads. Queen of Dancehall, Spice, was clearly enjoying every moment of the festivities, along with Barbados' own global superstar and business mogul, Rihanna, who attracted plenty of attention as she played mass with aura experience. Meanwhile, the king of soca, Marshall Montano, made a quick stop. And clearly, he couldn't resist the temptation to contribute to the excitement. But in the end, it was Bajan soca that remained the heartbeat of Grand Kadooment, driving the energy and the spirit of the festival, proudly representing the 246 and proving exactly how to celebrate and enjoy life like a Bajan. Angelo Chetadiah, CNC3 News, Bridgetown, Barbados.
Wow.
Angelo looks like he had a really good time.
Yeah, it looked like fun.
I've been to a few crop overs. I've never played mass in Barbados. As yet, you never know. It looks really enticing.
It's like a really great sea of color.
Yeah, it always is.
Jassie's a carnival guy. Jassie, are you hoping to one day?
Yeah, definitely.
Is it on your bucket list?
I've heard a lot about it, and Angelo certainly brought us a beautiful feature, and I'm thinking about it, yeah.
And I think if I know Rihanna is certainly there, I'm more inclined to go.
From one Riri to another.
Exactly. All right, well, ahead of Independence Day, we ventured across the country asking citizens, what does Trinidad and Tobago mean to you?
Every night, we'll be bringing you one patriotic response. Here's what one person had to say.
It means everything. It's a beautiful island, lovely people, you know.
Short and sweet. That's how we end the news this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ria Ramboli.
I'm Ryan Bachu.
I am Jassie Marie.
And I'm Sigoni Mohammed. Do have a good night.
You're watching CNC3.
What Tongue Say? Brought to you by Sunshine Snacks and White Oak. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to sit back and watch our contestants try to predict how their fellow Trinbagonians answer our questions. From Gasparillo to Glencoe, let's find out what tongues say. And here's our host, who mysteriously lost out on that basketball scholarship, Junior Lee Limo.
How you all feeling? Everybody good? Good?
Of course.
All right, so welcome to What Tongue Say. Or I can make some more noise to that. What Tongue Say? Yeah. All right, so this is the game show where we challenge a thrown together team to answer some survey questions to win themselves up to $2,500.
All right. Might.
You looking like you're not impressed at all. You just
you know what?